Okay, so in previous video we have seen how exactly we can perform, creation of a ABAP CDS, what exactly a ABAP CDS is, and we've also created a basic ABAP CDS, right? And in that we before that we created a table, and on top of table we created a CDS, and we ran the data and we saw that similar values were coming from CDS. So till now, whatever we have developed is something that is not very different from what a table provides. So on top of the basic CDS, we are going to develop more CDS and more annotations also. So before I proceed, I will showcase you something. So suppose I search for OData Northwind, okay, and this is a service, and this is the service metadata, you can say. And suppose I want to open up the customer, right? Slash customers. And so now this is a JSON data, and here you see we are getting a lot of data, right? So for like a particular entity set, customers, we are getting the customer ID, company name, contact name, and a lot of different things. So now this is the raw data that comes from the backend. And in this particular data, if there is no annotation added, no, the UI will not ever understand what exactly and how exactly to place these fields, which field will come first, which will come next, which type of field it is. Is it a type of a drop down, or is it a type of input box? So all these things will be required to be maintained from the UI. So to remove that dependency on the UI and to implement everything in the backend, we go with the concept of annotations, right? So we can use this query dollar metadata after the service name to find out the metadata. So if you see now, for the customer, this is giving me annotations. So what annotation we are having, you can see basic annotations are coming at least. So for customer ID, it is a type of string. This type is coming from the annotation. Is it nullable, true or false? What will be the maximum length? Will be it a fixed length or it will not be a fixed length? And Unicode, true or false? And then we have also, if you see navigation properties here, suppose if we click here, what will open up and which particular entity set will open up. So these things can be also, the associations can also take place in the metadata with the help of annotations. So a lot of annotations are there. So if I just search the customer again, I'll show you more annotations. You see the annotation version is given here and more annotations are added. Yeah. So if you see, apart from the basic entity types and three set definitions, we have also called associations. So association name is given. Suppose this customer is clicked, what will be the role added and how exactly it will be, like it will be 0 to 1 or it will be all like star. So those things are also defined in the annotation. So these things are not possible in case you directly create a table and then directly create an OData and export it out to the UI5. This is still possible there if you add annotations, right? If you remember, I told you that annotations can be also created using OData. So removing all those rework and creating everything all together in a single file, that will be done in CDS. So this is basic CDS view and it is working fine, right? Now we need to have something called an interface CDS view. Before that, I will create one more table and one more CDS view. So if I go to SC11, so we have employee basic, right? And I will say employee address, DRS, fine. Employee address, well, we again, A maintained to be allowed. EMP ID I will take once again. Be a key. Data type will be built in. Char 20. And then I will give something called EMP address, EMP state, and then EMP country and EMP pin code. And I will as of now make all char 20. But if you actually create these tables, create with proper data element, proper domain, with proper type, like it should be, the pin code should be an integer, not character. And again, for country, you can have value help. So those should be maintained. Then you should have value help for gender. So if you maintain those things, you can actually use annotations to send the value help directly to the UI. You don't have to actually rewrite anything in the CDS. So that's also the benefit. So and anyhow, I'll just save it out. $TMP. And then I'll go to technical settings. I will choose the data class. So we'll just save it out and activate it. Fine. So we can continue or just close this out. We have already activated table. We'll go to utilities, table content, and create entity. So we'll see what IDs we have created. We have created one. So it will be for me. So this is the address. Fine. So we have three data now in the table. So we can go and check also what all data we have. Fine. So as per the last video, what we'll do is like we'll go back to our project and we'll again try to create a data definition, right? So let's go here and search for data definition. It will be this time called Z B E M P A D R S. Employee address basic view. Fine. Next. Okay, so we'll define view entity. Let's finish it out. Control space. Oh, before that we have to add a table name. So just go back and this is a table, right? Select it out from here. Leave all the other fields as it is. Control space. Insert all fields. And as similar to this one, we'll rename field names. And activate it out. Wait this to end. Activated. Try to run it out. Fine. So we have, if you see the data is coming over here for the CDS, the basic CDS. So this was the first level. The second level will be creating an interface CDS. So we'll go back to the theoretical part again. So now once we are going to create a interface CDS, we'll be adding something called annotations, right? So what is annotation? So if you remember, we have opened up the OData with a query called dollar $metadata. And once we open that, it shows us data and some other informations, right? So we are adding some metadata or some information into a table database using a symbol like this, right? At symbol. And then we define some behavior, some representation so that it can be used by the front-end technologies. And benefits will be like the labels and all, the field positions and all, and visibility over the Fury application will be as per the requirement. Secondly, OData services will not be required to be created using SEGW. We'll directly publish our OData from here only. Then, if you are using some other SAP technologies like SAP SAC, that is Analytics Cloud. So what they need is like they need a lot of data for analytics. And if you will enable some annotation, you can support the SAC queries. So for that also we provide some annotations. Then the fourth one is access control. It is like adding a security check. Suppose for in a company for a few people, this particular table is required to be accessed, some are not required. So those level of checks we can add over in our CDS view also. And the last one is performance optimization. If you remember, since we are executing a lot of things in the database itself at the database level without even writing code at application level, so that means better performance, and that means the performance overall will be optimized, right? So these are the basic benefits of annotation that you can also answer during the interviews. So type of ABAP CDS annotation. So I have a this particular documentation from SAP side, SAP ABAP CDS, SAP annotations. So it has a lot of annotations, and each of them can be clicked and read individually. So that is something we're not going to do, but I will share this link with you so that you can also go through it. In case in future, if you need something and someone asks to prepare something, you can look for those annotations here. So keeping it aside, I have added some annotations here that is very generic in use, and that is being used over time by a lot of developers. The first one is like defining basic metadata. So it's like the defining the view name, description. We have already done that, right? If I go back in the CDS view, even in the basic level, we have something called end user text dot label. So this is the first very common annotation that comes by default. So if you create a CDS view, it will come by default. So you don't have to even remember it out. But it is there. So that's the thing I want to mention. Then we have something called UI annotations. So how the field will be placed, how the label will be. So that we do using the UI annotation. So I believe we do not have any UI annotation as of now, but we'll implement it in interface CDS. Second one is OData annotation. That again is not here as of now. This will be something we'll be adding in the consumption view. So the query is OData.publish and making it colon true. Then the next one is analytics annotation. This also I have discussed, right? So if you want to open your particular CDS view for SAC applications, then we enable it as true and false. Then access control annotation, it is very generic in use. What we do is like during wrap also you will see a lot of uses of access control CDS views. So it is a copy of CDS view that we create. So let me just show you also like the same name. I will use the same name to create a. If I just go here, new, the, and here only you can see access control. I will use $TMP here. Same name. You don't have to even change the name. And it will be called as access control of the CDS. So now you see a lot of aspects are there. So there is something called PFCG. PFCG is a T code in SAP. And using that, you for particular user, you can assign some roles. So Suppose if you are working in SAP, you will be having C user, I user something. And if I see this, even this example, yeah. So now you can see in the status is like this particular user is there as for ABAP 98. So this is the username. For this username, you can actually set some roles in the T code, like this user is having access of these PFCG roles, and those can be defined over in the CDS view. That's the way to actually write the conditions. Then we can have some simple conditions we'll see right now. Yeah. So now see, we have again a very basic annotation over here, and we have defining roles. The name of the role is here. CDS with CDS you want to have a role, so I will write the same CDS that we have. And now here we can write conditions. So suppose for this field we can write conditions like employee ID is 1. So if I write, wait, I have taken the wrong field name. I have to take the CDS field name. Fine. So now if you write this condition, this is a very basic condition. It means in this whoever is having the employee ID as 1 will be having the access of the CDS. We are not going to write it out because this is something not valid for our use case. But this is the way we create a basic you say access control CDS view. Same name of the CDS will be used as the access control name. It is not mandatory to use, but we keep it same so that we do not have to remember okay what was the name of the access control security based CDS views. So we keep it same, and here we select for the rules and our conditions over here. Fine. So I will close this out and go back to the theoretical part. Then we have something called semantic annotations. It means like if for currency or quantity, there is always two fields. First field will be the currency value, and the second will be currency type, like 100 USD, right? So USD will be the currency type, currency itself, and then there will be value 100. Same goes for quantity. So it will be like 100 liters. So those annotations are maintained using semantic annotations. We'll check it out. Like these annotations are very common in the daily use case. So now all the commonly used annotations are defined over here, whatever I mentioned, discussed. You can go through each of them, read it out, how to implement it. Everything is written over here. And again, some steps to add the annotations. So since you already know that we have created the CDS view, now what I will do is activate everything that we have. Access control, I don't want to activate. Function group, I don't want to activate. Okay, nothing is required for activation here. So now what I will do is like I will create a new CDS view. Data definition, and it will be same the $tmp package, and it will be called zi interface view, right? amp data employee data interface view. Okay, the name is available and fine. It is by code same CDS, right? Nothing different in terms of code. So what I will do is like first I will select the data from this EMP basic, right? And now just after this particular selection, I have two options. The option number one is join. The option number two is association. So as I mentioned also like these two are very important concept. So we, even we'll see this join and associations over multiple examples that I've shared. The very first one is like simple OData annotations is added, and here you see a table is selected from here. Then we have inner join on another table and writing conditions, similar to what we do in SQL queries. Fine. So if I do like inner join, and this time I will write. I can write a name also as EMP basic, and I will write this CDS over here as EMP address, or you can give full name employee basic and employee address. So when we do join, we have to write some where conditions or on conditions, right? Like which particular field will be used for mapping. So if you remember within employee basic, we can write dot and see all fields over here. So employee ID, and similarly for the address, we'll have dot employee ID. Now you can press Control Enter and insert all fields. Now you see we have duplicate fields over here, right? So you can remove one of them because both are ID. And from basic we have fetched these many fields right at the top. And from the address we have fetched these many fields. So like this, you can see all the fields are added here. You can save it out. And actually, again, the right will be to define each of the fields, to give a better name. So that in future also whatever thing you want to showcase in UI, you can control from here. So now if you see I have given a wrong spelling for employee here, so I can correct over here. And this is a good practice, reason being like basic views will be available already for many of the standard tables. So rather than using the old name, you can use the new names, whatever you want. Like we can just mention here state. You don't even need employee now, right? You can just mention country, address, phone, email, gender, name, and employee is correct. And then this will be pin code. Save it out and run the CDS view. So for that we go here and run as web application. So we have a join condition written and it is bringing all the information for me. Fine. Now the third step is adding annotations. So we'll see how. Also, not all of the annotations that we are going to write here will have impact over this output. Reason being, this is not some like this simulator where we are previewing a data. It is as per the ABAP. So if you remember, I will just click here. It says ABAP test cockpit, right? So it is having the preview from ABAP test cockpit. It is not a preview from Fury or UI5. So whatever annotation we are going to write, it will have impact on the Fury, not over here. So it will remain same because the data remains same, right? If condition changes, that will impact here. Like if I change the condition of this one employee ID as just one, like this. That's activate and check. Or you can just refresh here. You see only employee ID 111 is coming, nothing else. Now duplicate data is also coming. and agent means is like it is mapping for 3 times. So these are the issues that might come during your development also. Like you try to create a CDS view and it is giving some duplicate data. So for that we can add like where like we can add unique data fetch. That those conditions we can add over here. Let me as of now just for basic enter the employee address. This will remove all our duplicate data. We are doing one-to-one mapping. Fine. So we have a CDS view, interface CDS view created. So let's copy this these two things now, and we will write those condition here, and I will explain you what exactly these two lines are. So it says position 10 for line item and selection field. So if you have seen a Fury application, I will show you a Fury application. So if you see, this is the Fury standard Fury application, right? And these are the fields that we have written for mapping. And then there are some filters, search enabled or not, something like that. So line item is for the this part 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, like this we can provide the line item. Again, this is for if you see this particular part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, that I will write over here. Fine. So if you see writing an annotation for the entire fields, it enables the searchable functionality. Now these fields will be enabled by default for search. So it means like if I go back to the UI, all the fields will be search enabled. Fine. So like this, you can think, okay, what exactly is required? Value help is required, and then uh, filterable is required. Filterable true or false. So then again, you can go back and search for filter, compare filter. Then if you see filterable default value, filter is hidden for a particular field. So like this, you can add more annotations, right? So like this, we keep adding annotations, and as of now, I'll just save it out, activate it out. So if you see, we have created one more CDS view. We have created the basic CDS view. We have created an interface CDS view, and we have gotten some error here. At least one element has to be set. Okay, default search element. So if you see, should go away actually. Yeah, it has gone. So one more thing to showcase, like just writing at, you can see all the annotations over here. And if you see like I got an error like since I've added search, but one particular field should be defaulted, like it should be the major primary basic you can say field for performing search. So that I have enabled for this employee name, although it would better to enable for employee ID, but it's fine. So I now have activated this particular CDS view, and it will have particularly no impact on this output. You can see that. And now we will be going to write the last CDF view, that is for consumption. So for consumption, what I can do is like I can just copy the name, write file new other data definition $tmp, name will be gc consumption view for employee data. Next. Okay, someone has already created this CDS view, not an issue. So To see if someone has already created or some particular CDS view exists or not, what we do is like we click on this system, we press Control Shift A, and we start writing this CDS view name. And you see, we have behavior definition, data definition, a lot of things are added here. So someone has been creating some, if you see, wrap on top of it. So behavior definition is like something used for a wrap based creation. And if you see, they have this GC, they have this projection view, and yeah, so this is more basically linked to the wrap view. So we'll ignore this. I thought since they have used C, they might be using it for consumption view, but they have used it for projection view. So this is the important lesson. Like we should be using the right way of you know naming an object so that any new user who is going to check your information is aware that okay, this is for this particular purpose. So what we are going to do is like we are going to make OData enable true. So let me find OData.publish, actually OData.publish true. Fine. So we are at the place where we can actually start adding a service. So actually I need to refresh this. We have already made it a true, right? So we'll see if it is already there. So for that we can click on filter and paste our CDS name, search. It is not there, so we'll click on add service and technical service name is also added in the end. So let's go CDS. Ah, system alias was required. So we can just search for G and then do search. So here you can see GCEMP info CDS is available. Add the selected service. Local object will be SP gateway OData v2 is fine. Click on OK. Service is created now. And search your service again in technical service name and click on this SAP Gateway Client. So this is the service name. If you can execute this, you will get the metadata, right? Back to this thing and we'll write OData dot entity set name as MP info set, right? And OData dot entity type dot name and dot name PMP info type. We'll again activate this and once it activates, we can just go back, execute again. So if you see, we have the MP set info set coming here. Now if you just write here MP info set and again to execute, you will see entire data is coming in the API. Now this API can be used also in the browser. So if you see, if I click HTTPS, I get the entire link, right? And within it, within the browser, I will try to open it up. I'm not sure with securities and all it is allowed or not. Now I need to provide the user ID and password. That should be same like this. Yeah. So if you remember, we started the video with an example of OData that we found on internet, OData Northwind. Now we have our own OData, right? And we have, if I write like dollar metadata, I will get the annotations also. Whatever annotations by default are added, right? So that's the only thing that we do in CDS. We create the entire OData using CDS, we add annotation, and we do a lot of associations using CDS. And even if you see, if I go back, I get all data. Like the join is working here, right? So that's the thing that we wanted to focus upon in this video. And we have completed this ABAP CDS development. And in the next video, we'll be building our wrap view on top of this ABAP CDS. So we have deployed our CDS and published at an OData API. And now the next part will be to deploy the service in form of a Fury services. So for that, what we'll do is like we'll click on the consumption view and we'll click on new service definition. Okay, and suppose we'll call this as this only, and just after that I will add SRV. Okay, and service definition for employee data. And what it does is like whatever service we are planning to expose for UI5, it will expose directly from here. So this is something that we are trying to expose, right? This is the CDS view that we have created, and this is something we want to see in Fury application. Just save it and activate it. So now our service is ready, but we cannot test it out until we do the binding. So for that, we'll again go to our, like if you see, we have in the local all the important thing available, right? And if I click on business services now, we can see our service definition. And if I click on, like right click on that, then I can see like we have something called service binding. And I will just again use the same. Okay, fine. So now we have to choose what will be the binding type. So we are working only on OData v2 as of now. So we can expose it as a web API. So similar to our OData exposure that we have seen, that we have went through the the transactions and all, we can directly do from here, or we can also expose in UI format. So I will do the same thing and click finish. So it says that to enable the publish of local service point, you need to activate the service binding. So just click on activate, and it's activated now. And the only thing that we need to do now is like click on publish. So now we have this particular application ready for preview, and you can click on this and it will open up the Fury application. So the username and password will be something required here. And just click on go. Select all the columns. That's it. And I guess we can select all the filters that we want, right? And click OK. So now you see all the filters are available in the Fury. All the fields and data that we expose from our API is available here. We had three data, right? And if I just search for an address, I can search it like the ID first. Just click one and you will see the filter is also working fine. And country is all India only. So I will see what address I can use. Let me use this one, New Mahal. So filters are also working fine. So in this way, we have completed the CDS, which is exposed as OData via backend, and we have also tested it out. which is also exposed as a Fury application that we have also tested here. So we have actually completed the entire building of the ABAP CDS, and the only thing that is left is like performing CRUD operations. Like if I click on this particular screen, it will go on the next page, right? This is called detail page. What data will appear here, and also how to enable edit over here. And if I go back, we should have an option to click add and add the data or create data. Then we should have an option of choosing this particular data and delete it out. This is called CRUD operations. The same similar CRUD operation that we do in our backend is required to be done here in Fury application also. So this is something the next version or next part where we perform those activities also via web CDS or RAP. So yeah, that's it.